What's up guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to show you how I made the super cool ambient synth loop for artists like Don Toliver, Travis Scott, really catering towards that dark sound. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, all of that good stuff. Follow me on Instagram at GavinHadley_ if you haven't already. And if you like the way this loop sounds or any of the other loops that I've broke down in past videos and future videos, you can be added to my weekly melody list. It's $20 to be permanently added to the list. Each week you'll be receiving 12 melodies. The melodies will be this style, guitar, dark guitar, happy guitar, all different sorts of styles. So yeah, if you're interested, feel free to send me an email over to gavinhadleybeats@gmail.com and I can get you on the list. With all of that out of the way, let's get into the video. So first things first, I'm going to play you guys the loop. Super ambient, super textured, a lot of distortion going on. We have a bunch of different delays. So for this first part of the loop, you guys heard a reverse part. I'll get into that later. For now, we're going to start with the second part of the loop. So this first sound is a key from Analog Lab 5. Analog Lab is a super good plugin for these textured sort of vintage sounds, synth sounds. They have so much to choose from. What I did, since I'm broke and Airbnb hopping, is you can pay $10 through Splice, I believe, and you just pay for it monthly instead. So it's $10 a month for this plugin, same as like Arcade and a bunch of those other plugins. So I just find it to be a super good deal. So this is the chord progression. All right, so when I made these chords, I wanted to go super simple. I wanted to have something to differentiate the end of the chords so then it helped transition into the next set of chords. So as you can see, these aren't really even arpeggiated. I mean, we have these guys right here, but this is just a super simple A minor chord with the root note down an octave, and then we have an E minor chord. This is a super common technique in these type of loops. You go from a minor chord and then you copy it over, as you can see here, and then you pitch it down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that is also a minor chord, and it just gives a super cool dark sound. And after that, we went to this B major chord, and then we dropped down to another E minor chord right here, and then we sort of lead up the scale here. In a lot of these songs, you'll see super cool bass lines, so I just kind of wanted to add a little bit of a different element here, utilizing chromatics, which give a super dark sound and help really lead back into this A. As for how I came up with these, you can see these are all like super close together, and just like if I click them here, notes are super close like this. Again, they help with that dark sound, and as you can see throughout this melody, we have a lot of notes that are really close to each other, creating a nice crunchy voicing. I feel like they use these type of voicings in a lot of Don Toliver and Travis Scott songs. Effects that I put on it: cassette, just to give it a little bit more of a dark, sort of screwed up sound, of vintagey. I used the Insight, it's moving preset. This is what everything sounds like before effects. As you can see, this delay that I added here ended up giving us a lot of movement. It's just the default preset with the mix turned down here. Gives us a lot more movement in our chords, and it helps fill up a lot of space. And then after that, we have this Addictive Keys. There's a halftime in RC20 on the Addictive Keys, but I'm gonna turn it off for now. So really, we're just following our root notes here, same sort of chords, but then I'm leading up the scale with chromatics. Chromatics are gonna be your best friend when you're making these type of melodies, just notes right next to each other in the scale. This is just a super nice sound to help fill up space, add some texture. With the RC20, and the halftime really seals the deal because it's in a kind of a higher octave. I wanted it to be a little bit lower, so that's what the halftime came in clutch for. It's on the 1/4. Yes, so now after that, we have this bass sound here. You'll see a lot of moving bass lines. Basically what that means is picking out notes that aren't necessarily the root note. For example, here, and then these guys too. These guys add a lot of energy and they really help transition back up to our actual root note, which is G sharp. How I come up with these notes is really just honestly experimenting and like moving them up and down, just seeing what I think transitions well to the next chord. I'm actually like going ahead and I'm pitching these all down so like they're in the same key that this end sample's in. This is the next sound we have. This sound I wanted to add just to add like a weird sort of element, some ear candy, just like super simple notes that bounce off back and forth between each other the entire time. They're just really doing their own thing, and they have a bunch of different effects on them. They just really, like, I don't know, they catch the listener's ear without doing too much. And we have that moving bass line right here. So what I wanted to do is do a little bit of a harmony. We're just cascading down the scale. There's really no method for how I came up with this. Just really trying to be as random as possible, honestly. What I probably did actually was, say we just gonna remove these notes. I probably started with these ones. Just a super simple, like, not really a bass line, just sort of a bass melody to build off of. Effects that I put on it, I know I have a lot of different effects. Pretty sure it's this one. Yes. So the first thing I have is Echo Boy with the Flangelets preset. Just turn the mix back on it a bunch because with the mixes all the way up, it sounds super out of tune and not good. After that, we have this sort of shape on it, a nice little EQ. This is what everything sounds like without effects, by the way. So the first thing I probably did was add the EQ. And then after that, we added the Echo Boy and then a little bit of reverb just to help blend it into the background a bit more. I wanted to add another lead. Again, no real methods behind this. As you can see, a lot of these melodies have similar structure. And what I mean by that is like the beginnings don't really have too much going on. And then we have sort of passing notes that transition up to the next big note or long note. And that's the theme for the chord progression, and then that last melody that I showed you as well. Just kind of really like focusing where we have our notes playing. The beginning, there's a lot of like open room, and then we just have like a super cool sort of a bunch of passing notes just all playing on top of each other within a bunch of different melodies. So now effects that I put on this, I put pan man. I don't really have anything in the melody that was too panned to this point, so panning is a super cool way just to make the loop sound cool and trippy. I use the wiper panner preset from Pan Man. As you can see, it's just a constant back and forth. And then I have Echo Boy, then I have a Fruity Delay 3 as well, just on the default preset with the mix turned back. And then little Alter Boy pitching it up. Oh, actually, no, not pitching it up. Mixing up the formants a little bit, which is just going to give it a cool sort of distorted sound. So everything sounds like before effects. And that's the Echo Boy, the Pan Man, Echo Boy. This is a super cool delay plugin. So we basically have like two delays on top of each other here. Delays are a super just cool way to fill up space and create a lot more in your melodies, give them a lot more meat and depth without actually adding more notes. A lot of these melodies have super cool reverse aspects too. Again, just a super easy way to fill up more space without actually adding in more melodies. So for me, I exported this Creature synth and then I reversed it and sort of took a couple of chops that I liked and came up with this sound. After that, we have this element here, which is also reversed. This is the Addicted one-shot piano. I exported it, pitched it down an octave, reversed it. Yeah, that's basically the melody. Added this element in, which is if we unreverse it here, bounced out this Analog Labs up here. I had it in its normal state, then I made a couple chops at the bar marks, and then after that, I reversed it, and we get this super cool sound, which I thought on its own it was just supposed to be like an accent piece, but after hearing it, I thought that it had enough depth to it to be the opening part of this loop. Super cool way to give a little bit more bounce to your loops is by adding drum loops into them, just like super subtle accent pieces. This is the Strum Loop. It's just turned down in the mix, honestly. This is how most of my layouts are. I don't like to have everything come in right away, but I like to introduce some of my favorite elements. For me, my favorite element in this loop was this reverse part, so I made sure I had that in by itself, letting it stand out a little bit. And then I introduced a few other of these reverse parts, and then to help transition into this final part, I have the Addictive Keys here, just playing what it played right at the end, just that cascading harmony down the scale. And then after everything was bounced out, I did some weird thing with the pitches while I was breaking down this loop. So I did pitch it down one note and we get this sound. that is the melody. I hope you guys were able to learn something today. As always, if you have any questions about this melody or other melodies or anything, feel free to ask away in the comment section. Comment down below what type of videos you guys would like to see from me next. Follow me on Instagram at GavinHadley_. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.